Wow, 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 wow.
I've been really trying, baby.
Wow, no, no, no.
Trying to hold back this feeling for so long.
Wow, no, no.
And if you feel like I feel, baby, come on. Woo! Come on, Daily Solution. Oh, baby, Daily Solutions.
Okay.
All right, this is Graham with Big Thud Con over here.
Hey, hello, everybody.
And we have a good question for you today.
Oh, yeah? What
Yep.
is it?
It is, do you need to have a business partner in order to start a float tank center?
Oh, that is a good question.
And the answer is no, you don't need one.
Yeah, I would say having a business partner is among the
having-
worst decisions that it's really
You might end up doing a podcast every
It's-
single day with your partner.
Yeah.
It's very demanding.
Yeah, I mean, like a living hell is really the best phrase to kind of wrap it all up.
And we can say that 3 lawyers and 5 counselors later. So no. Okay, so the actual answer to your question is applicable not just to float tank centers too, which is just in general if you're able to get a good business partner, and that's the key. If you can get a good one, then having a business partner is absolutely a great decision. Like there's so many things in business, including ridiculously late nights, ridiculously long hours in the float center industry, pumps breaking in the middle of the night, different things like that, where you're just there banging your head against a wall. And even if someone else isn't helping you, at least having someone standing next to you banging their head against the same wall is so comforting. I can't even imagine some of going through some of the stuff we've struggled through alone.
I mean, commiserating, I think, is really the word here. I mean, it's interesting. I always feel whenever I get this question, I feel like I should preface it with the fact that, like, I'm a pretty extroverted person. You're a pretty extroverted person. Like, we like social situations, doing things with other people. And that's just the perspective I have. Like, I enjoy things more when there's other people around or I'm doing something with someone. So I don't know, maybe if you're like super introverted and you're not into that, it's not something that sounds like a good idea to you. But even with that aside, like just the very practical nature of having not everything, I mean, there's just a lot of emergencies that come up, right? And like being able to be like, to go out of town or to just realize you're not the only person who has to always be on call, or even if you are both going to handle something, that there's 2 of you there is really nice. I mean, I personally find it to be a way more enjoyable way to run a business.
And you'll see that too, even down to what investors look for. They look for good business partners who work well together in a venture, and that's because they know how hard it is to run something just by yourself. So, like, this isn't, again, just float tank advice. This is very general business startup advice, is if possible, definitely having a founder is the way to go.
I mean, it's just, I also just find it really useful to bounce ideas off somebody. To me, it's so much easier to like talk something out, and you're like, right? It's so much, you get to a solution so much faster than you do just trying to think through something in your head. And
at least then, like, you're sharing the blame too. If it goes horribly wrong, there's like 1 or 2 other people who agree that this sounded like a good idea.
We all decided to knock this wall out, and here we are.
Yeah. So when you crash and burn, there's a little less personal guilt or something that goes on it too.
Yeah.
So the flip side though is, it's also like getting married. It's like asking, hey, should I get into a great marriage? You're like, yeah, probably. That sounds excellent, right? But there are a lot of marriages that go south and end in divorce.
It's like getting married and immediately having a child.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, if you're already starting a float center and you're looking for a partner, that's like being pregnant and looking for the father, which is probably the wrong time, or at least a very desperate time to be searching for that business partner. So, again, it truly is like a marriage in the sense that you'll be sharing financial information. You can fire employees. You can't fire a business partner. Like they're in it until you pay them a lot of money to get out of the business if you don't want them to be there.
Yeah, and you'll probably spend more time with them than you will with your real spouse. Like,
or your real children. Yeah.
Like, it's pretty serious.
So take your time. Again, the right time to be looking for business partners is a year before you're starting, or ideally you've known the person who is going to be your partner for longer than that as well.
Yeah.
So you've had time to vet them out and make sure you get along and things like that too.
So here's a question. I mean, then what do you? I get this.
Only one
asked-
question per episode, Con.
Okay. Oh, I didn't get my question yet. All right. Here's my question for this episode. How do you? Because this is the follow up I get asked a lot. How do you choose a good business partner? Or how do you know who would be a good business partner?
Yep. And I guess a little bit it depends on your goal, right? So there's a few different goals in starting a float center. One is to sort of franchise and spread out and create all of these different businesses and make a lot of money running this chain of float tank centers. Another one is to have more of a lifestyle business and have something that is a business that you feel happy working in and attending to, and so does your partner. There's also situations where you have enough money to fund it and what you want is an operational partner versus you don't have enough money and you're actually looking for an investor or some kind of financial partner. And all of these, I would say, kind of yield different answers to that question of what are you looking for in a partner or how do you find a good one?
But yeah, I mean, I guess one of the points in there is make sure you have the same goals.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you're going into operate a lifestyle business and the other person's going to turn this into a mega multi-city float-opolis, like you're going to come into conflict like pretty fast there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say also look at if you're doing this with friends or people you've known for a while, look at people's past actions and don't listen as much to what they're telling you guys are going to do together in your new business. It's really easy to get excited when you're starting a float center and talk about all the marketing you're going to do and people you're going to bring in and stuff like that. And if you're actually, seriously vetting someone who you'd like to go in on this float center with, find out what they've done in the past. What are the big projects that they've successfully pulled off? How did those go? Were they working with people? It's almost like sizing up contractors or something like that. I was just picturing actually getting a spouse through this same method of can I see your references before we start dating, please? This sounds great. Okay, Sam from but see, talk to people who have done projects with them that are on the same scale and find out if they've even done something that is on the same scale. A lot of people, this will be the single biggest thing that they've launched into with their lives.
Yeah, and there's always a certain amount of going with your gut involved too, right? I mean, getting married, I think there's a certain kind of intangible quality to exactly what you're looking for, exactly what makes something work well and what doesn't. One thing that always sticks out to me about what I feel works well with us, like our partners at Float On, is whenever we have a problem to figure out or something to solve, I always feel like we start pretty much on the same page as each other or close to the same page as each other. And it takes us just a few minutes to really all get on the same page and then move forward from there. And I haven't found that working with a ton of other people. Sometimes I'll work with people and I'll spend hours just trying to reconcile our ideas with each other and just kind of get to mutual ground. And to me, that's a sign of someone who probably wouldn't be a good long-term business partner because it's just so much work to get to a place to even start solving the problem, right? So to me, that's a sign of what works well for us is we're the problem because so much of it is problem solving, right? I feel like half of what we're doing is just someone being this is happening. It's okay, well, we got to figure out what to do now to solve the fact that is happening. That's mostly what running a business is.
Yeah. So I guess there's, again, it's ideally totally you'd have a business partner or a couple business partners, or if you're Float On, 20 business partners when you start up or something like that. We're definitely on the extreme side of things.
Yeah.
I think we actually have 5 business partners, just for the record out there. And what else? That same thing said. Use caution.
Yeah.
Be careful when you're getting into it. And I
think it's worth it. Personally, for me and my life, I couldn't have imagined doing this without a business partner. Just
there are so many times where I've looked at Jake and Ashkahn and just said, I have no idea what I would have done without you guys around,
So yeah, you're definitely getting our kind of bias and perspective in on it. But I just don't even think I could have done it alone or would have been able to quite pull it off or would have really enjoyed it nearly as much.
So don't rush into things, take your time, and keep in mind, it's one of those things where despite your best efforts and intentions, things can go wrong.
Yep.
If it were easy to pick the best business partner that would match you for your float center.
Nobody would be getting divorced.
Nobody would be getting divorced. And there's your answer for today.
All right. If you guys have other questions, you can always hop over to floattanksolutions.com/podcast, and we will talk to you tomorrow.